2026 World Cup has been a party from start to finish for Scotland and the Tartan Army. But within that party, we've had a lot of different subplots to contend with. The first one being the expectation of the Haiti game, how our whole tournament, our hopes were pinned on that game. We had to get the 3 points no matter what. And we were really crossing our fingers. We could have put something into the goal difference category to try and help us for where we find ourselves now. But that expectation quickly turned to dread, pessimism. I had a bit of optimism for the Morocco game. Ultimately, we came out with it losing 1-0 in a game that could have went very differently. But now we are in the final little subplot of the group stage where we're about to take on World Cup legends Brazil in a game that is billed to be pretty classic Scottish. We need to hang on to third place. There's a lot of chat about goal difference, and we're facing a Brazil team that we've faced before in World Cup duties, and this is going to be an absolute clash of styles. Brazil, samba, total football, everything that they stand for, and Steve Clarke in Scotland, the anti-football kind of cloud that we maybe have over us at times, but the hard working, keep the lines tight and try and nick something attitude. This is going to be maybe a little bit predictable. Let's just see how it goes. But in these types of games, especially with all the good vibes that we're getting from the locals over in America, something unexpected could happen. We've already seen it in this World Cup, and we've seen it in football for as long as time has been going. In the video today, we'll look at the Scotland-Brazil game, the predicted lineups, what we need to do. And other than Brazil, who are our main competitors for finishing in the best third places to qualify for the knockout round, which will be the first time we've done that, of course, in our history. It's set up to be monumental. It is set up to be historic, and I look forward to getting stuck into all that in the video with you guys today. If you are brand new around here and you haven't done so already, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, and get into the comment section and let me know your thoughts, feelings, expectations, predictions, man of the match shouts, everything going into this game. Leave your receipts on the internet. But yeah, let's just get stuck straight into this one. And we're going to start with the whole third place scenario, because this is the elephant in the room. The game itself is important. The result does mean a lot to us, but what means more to us is some of the results that are going to happen elsewhere around the World Cup. Now, at point of recording, one group is yet to complete its second round of fixtures. They're kind of easy to forecast, so we'll be able to fill in the blanks for there. But there's a few contenders we want to really look at and examine in the video today. The first one we have here is the Czech Republic, who currently find themselves in third. Their final game, they take on hosts Mexico, who have already qualified from their group on 6 points, whereas in the other game, South Korea look to secure second place with a game against South Africa. But should South Korea draw and Czech Republic get the win, Czech Republic still have a lot to play for. I was listening to Chicharito and some other kind of Mexican analysts and whatever, and they're talking about Mexico rotating players they might want to get into the game, into the tournament. They might need to use in the knockout round, for example. I'm not sure how much they've been using their bench, or if they're just thinking about more different squad options, different formations they could try, that sort of thing. But I actually see the Czech Republic getting something off of Mexico in this one. And the result in this game is going to be important. So if the Czech Republic were to get a draw, they finish on 2 points. We don't care about them. But if the Czech Republic were to beat Mexico, which I do think is something to think about, they will then be on 4 points, and their goal difference obviously comes into the positive as well. But 4 points, they would jump in front of us. Okay, so we'll have them kind of earmarked to the side. If we look at Group B, Bosnia are going to beat Qatar in the last game. I don't think we can really argue about that. And between Switzerland and Canada, if they finished on a draw, so they both get 5 points, would you be shocked? So again, you're looking at a 4-point third place. We then have our group, which is fine. Group D is another one that's of real interest to us, because at the moment, Uruguay are third on 3 points with a -2 goal difference. They got absolutely spanked off of America, but managed to actually eliminate Turkey 1-0 in the last match to get themselves onto 3 points. And their last game is a straight shootout for second place. I think both teams will feel quite good about their prospect of qualification. But if Australia were to win this, that means Paraguay finish on 3 points. And depending on the scoreline, their goal difference will go further negative. So that should be a team that drop below us. Similarly, if Uruguay beat Australia, Australia go into third on 3 points, and they will have lost the game, so their goal difference will go into the negative. But unless Paraguay rip Australia limb from limb, the Australian prospect of finishing third with negative goal difference, let's just say we lose to Brazil 2-0 or something, it's not going to put them beneath us probably enough, you would think. So let's just see how that one goes, but one to keep the eye on. I actually think in Group E, we're going to get one of our first teams that will definitely finish below Scotland in Ecuador. Their final game, they take on Germany. who have already won the first 2 matches, and Ivory Coast take on Curacao, as you can see here on Thursday. Now, Ecuador cannot score. They've been very bad in front of goal. And Germany, I think it would be very German of them to win 3 games on the quiet. No one's talking about Germany. It's all about France and Argentina right now. Maybe there's another team that's kind of in the zeitgeist, but Germany's certainly not one of them. And I could see them wanting to win this. I can still see them rotating and stuff, whatever. But Ecuador, I don't see them scoring on Germany. Germany, I don't see them hammering Ecuador, but I think they get the win here. And ultimately, what that means, if Ivory Coast get the business done against Curacao, Ecuador are going to finish third on probably 1 point. So that's the first team I think we're going to see finish definitely below Scotland. Now, in this group, it's kind of interesting because Japan face Sweden. And if Japan were to batter Sweden again, not to be ruled out, Sweden no mugs, then maybe they could drop below us. So one to maybe keep an eye on. This group, though, is where I think we're going to get another team that will finish below us, because in the final group stage games here, Belgium take on New Zealand. You would expect Belgium to finish on 5 points here, but Egypt take on Iran. Now, Iran have got themselves onto 2 points, so well done to them. Their goalkeeper had an absolute screamer against Belgium in the second match day to get a 0-0 draw. But I think Egypt are probably just going to squeak that and get the win to finish on 7 points and to top the group. I think I can see them really going for it. Quite an even match. I don't think it'll be high scoring, but I can see Egypt winning this. It could be a draw, and if it is, then they'll be on 3 points with a neutral goal difference. But I think Egypt get the win here because I think they're going to want to finish top ahead of Belgium, who they'll expect to get the win, and I think they'll really go for it. I don't think they'll take any prisoners. It'll be quite historic for Egypt to do that. So I think we're going to get Iran in this group finishing third on 2 points. So that'll be a second team, including Ecuador and Iran on 1 and 2 points, respectively. When we look at this group now, this one is one we should have big interest in. Now, Cape Verde take on Saudi Arabia. And depending on how that result goes, might just do the business for us in some regard. Because when I look at the other game, Uruguay-Spain, Uruguay have not been good at all. They have played Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia and drawn both of those matches. Spain are only on 4 points. If Cape Verde were to beat Saudi Arabia, Spain would finish second if they didn't beat Uruguay, for example. In actual fact, if Uruguay beat Spain, Spain could still technically be eliminated. So Spain will not be messing about. They will batter Uruguay for me. It might not be like a 4-0 or something, but I can see them quite comfortably dispatching them. In which case, Uruguay are probably going to finish on 2 points with a negative goal difference for me. Maybe they draw. I don't see it. And between Cape Verde and Saudi Arabia, I'm not too sure how that's going to shake out. If the Saudis win, they jump to 4 points, and if Cape Verde win, they jump to 5. So no matter how you shake it out, this group is going to, I believe, result in a second place finish beyond 2 or 1 points. And for me, I think Cape Verde beat Saudi. I think Uruguay lose. I think Uruguay are going to be on 2 points and finish in third place. That then takes us on to Group I. Now, Group I, the final game of this one, Norway take on France. They're just fighting out for first and second, aren't they? Erling Haaland even said in the post-match of the last game that France probably win this one, so kind of whatever. But Senegal are taking on Iraq, and they need to win, and they need to do something to their goal difference if they are going to just about squeak in. Iran so far have shipped 7 goals in the last 2 games to some pretty good opponents. Senegal, no slumps themselves, but they're really on the bubble. They're going to do something to their goal difference, depending on whatever it is. This might be one to watch out for. And Senegal, along with Australia or Paraguay, for me, are 2 of our biggest competitors. Now, I do think this group here, Group J, is a tough one to gauge because we have directly Algeria taking on Austria. So if Austria were to win, Algeria will finish on 3 points, and their goal difference might bring them into the conversation with us as well. I could personally see this be maybe a bit of a draw. I think Austria get the job done, but anyway, Algeria could still be firmly in the discussion. And with this group, Portugal probably beat Uzbekistan. We would expect Colombia to beat Congo, which would mean the final game, Congo are going to play Uzbekistan. Maybe Uzbekistan gets something from this, and then Congo finishes on 2 points in third place. So this group could offer something as well, but with only 1 game played, it's maybe a little bit harder to forecast and to think about. Similarly to this group, Panama play Croatia at point of recording tonight. England play Ghana. I think you could quite easily see the last game of this group, Croatia, Ghana on 3 points, England on 6. And in which case, when we come into the last game of this group, we have Ghana versus Croatia. So again, you're looking at potentially another team finishing in third place in a group, and we're looking at the goal difference for them. So as we look at it now, 4 teams get eliminated And to give you a quick recap, I've got Ecuador finishing on 1 point. They will not progress. I have Iran, which is in the group with Belgium here. I don't think that third place is going to progress either. And then I've got Uruguay, who are in the group at the moment with Cape Verde and such. So I don't think that is going to be somebody that progresses right now. And then we have Senegal, we have Australia, maybe Ghana, Croatia, depending on how those games kind of pan out. We have 3 teams to watch out for. Now, earlier today, I seen that Scotland could lose 5-0 and have a 58% chance of progressing, which is what made me want to look at this, because goal difference is a factor, but it's not the be all and end all, really, because some other teams just have less of a hope than us, to be honest with you. But so much of this will be out with our hands. And if we look at the fixtures for all this, we play before all of this happens. So we actually have no Scooby-Doo clue. If you look at this tonight, these are match day 2s to round up Portugal, England, Croatia, Colombia, those types of games. And then from here, UK time, 8 o'clock, we have Group B closing, all the games play at the same time, of course. And then the evening games is us in Group C and out. So we'll have our game done. We'll know where we're at. The first game we'll be looking at is Czech Republic, Mexico at 2 a.m. We'll probably be waking up to those news. Germany, Ecuador, we expect them to do the job for us. And then we're looking at Friday, 3 a.m. So Thursday night into Friday morning. So that'll be 2 mornings in a row. We'll be looking to wake up to Australia, Paraguay, Czech Republic, Mexico, Senegal. I think we can imagine they're going to win. Maybe similar to this Group H conclusion on Friday night into Saturday morning. And again, we'll have a bit of that Friday night into Saturday morning with Group G concluding overnight there as well. And I think by the time we get to Sunday, we'll probably, in the main body of Saturday during the day, when we wake up Saturday morning, we probably know our fate. So what team is Steve Clarke going to call upon to represent the country and to get us over the line and to get us into the knockout rounds? Now, Hickey hasn't been training, but it sounds like basically everyone else, including McKenna, is back in training right now, which is good news for Kieran Tierney. I think maybe Kenny McLean had a bit of a knock as well, 1 or 2 others, but in essence, everyone is ready to go, except for Hickey, who we've already seen feature at the World Cup. Now, I've got Craig Gordon on screen here because I just wanted to say this quickly. If Steve Clarke plays Craig Gordon, all respect I have for him, which is a lot, will go down the toilet. Pure birthday card nonsense. I get he's been a stalwart. He's been a great servant to the country and to Steve Clarke in particular. But if we play Gordon, I will lose all respect for him, to be honest with you. I did think coming into the tournament, it was likely Gordon would get a cap just for the whole histrionics of it all. But now that we're here, there's no room for sentiment, really. It is only Angus Gunn that can play in goals for Scotland. But outside of that, we have lots of debate, lots of discussion to go with. Defence is where we're going to start just organically, okay? Because I think this is the big domino effect for the rest of the squad, how we go about it. Now, the first game we played 4-4-2, and the second game we kind of played 4-2-3-1 or kind of 5-4-1. It depends how you want to think about Kieran Tierney's role as a left winger, but also dropped into a back 5, and how that kind of evolved through the game. I do think that premise of let Robertson be really wide and high that we've seen in the first game and try and build a back 3 out the rest of the defence is something I want to see happen. Grant Hanley has played every game so far, as Hendry, and I would expect to see them continue. But where I think there is a big question here is, if you're going to play a 3 at the back off the ball, you're going to push Robertson really wide. I would want to see Tierney starting in here. Now, Steve Clarke opted to play Tierney in the offensive position against Morocco, and I get that his deliveries into the box. He's much more of an when he's fully fit and firing. For me, Tierney is a much better offensive fullback than Robertson. Just generally speaking, I know Robertson's had a better career and kind of excelled in every area over the last couple of years where Tierney's perhaps stalled, but I get Steve Clarke's decision making there, as it were. For this game, I wouldn't want to do that. I would very much want Tierney to form a bit of a back 3, because I don't want to start Anthony Ralston. And Nathan Patterson, for as much as he was okay from the start, I'm not as would you be more comfortable with Nathan Patterson forming a bit of a false back 3 and having that right back ability to maybe stay with one of the wide players in the channel? It's up to you. It's personal preference. For me, I would rather not kid on anything. I would just have a back 3, protect the box a little bit. You make it a back 4 with Rob Owen, and if you can, but then you kind of protect a little bit more of the midfield. But I think he is going to play something that's going to have 5 or 6 players cover the box, cover the defence. And I'm undecided how he goes about it, because a lot of reports we're hearing coming out of this already is that Gannon Doak is set to start. And I think if that's the case, the number, like when we're building out from the back, and which won't happen much, right? But if we ever are on the ball and we're stretching the players out across the team, I want to see Robbo, I want to see Doak, I want to see them as our wide options, and then it's about filling the gaps in the middle. But we could play Doak and Robbo in that type of fashion, but we maybe revert back to a 4-2-3-1 style midfield. Maybe you would start McLean over Christie, perhaps, just because he's a bit more deeper, can kind of drop into a bit of a back three at times as well. He's not going to be going walkies or anything like that. Not that Lewis Ferguson's done that, and for me, Lewis so far has been the tournament. If you're to give a wee man of the match style award for effort so far, he's been pass marks in both games and really lifted the expectation levels around him, it feels like, for the national team. So I don't think you need to cover him necessarily, but just give him a pal, give him an extra bit of cover in there. They did seem at times in the Morocco game to not have a good understanding with one another, Ferguson and McLean. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if they went with Christie just for a wee bit more kind of synergy, harmony, familiarity they two maybe have together, because it didn't seem that Ferguson had that with McLean. But I think you'd be quite, again, McGinn and McTominay are super nailed on, aren't they? And between the forwards, which we'll chat about in a second, this is basically the team and the approach I thought we would have seen against Haiti, which we then didn't. We got 4-4-2, which was fine and a bit more attacking with Shanklin starting and whatever. And then against Morocco, which we didn't get, we started Tierney instead and played kind of 5 type shape like we spoke about here. This would resemble kind of a bit more of a 4-2-3-1, which feels like our best 11. Now, I would be a bit disappointed if we saved this team for Brazil. I would have really much rather that this be the sort of team tactics formation that we take into the Morocco game. And the way we approach Morocco, I would actually quite like to see us do that against Brazil, to be honest with you. But it feels like, number one, we've played that card. And number two, we've kind of seen in reality it wasn't that effective. So scoring a goal, I guess, do we even want to think about trying to score on Brazil? Is it more about making the game 0-0 or low scoring as much as possible? I don't know. But the main complaint I've had for Steve Clarke and the Scotland team so far, and the main complaint I've seen the detractors of Steve Clarke and the Scotland team, is that the attack has not looked coherent. It's not looked put together. It's not looked like we've had a clear style of this is where we're going to win the ball in these types of zones. And then from here, these are the 1 or 2 passes we're going to make, and we're going to have 3 bodies in the box, and we just need to make sure somebody scores it. We've seen glimpses of it. I'm thinking really late in the Morocco game when we made some subs, and I'm also thinking later in the Haiti game again when we made some subs and we pushed McTominay up front. And I think that's an important aspect of this game, that McTominay needs to be a bit more up front. And if you've got Gannon Doak covering on one side, you then got a bit of a midfield. He will be in the midfield, but a bit more of a 3 behind that, with Robbo and Doak being the wide options. It just doesn't feel like there's any better way to do this. Patterson's a question mark, whether you want to do that or slide it over and make that Tierney. It's up to you. But then if you are dropping into a back 4 at any point, you've then got Hanley in a really awkward spot where he could get dragged into some areas and just some bad things could happen, which we don't want to see, of course. I think another alternative that could maybe make this work, and you keep Gannon Doak from the start with Adams, is that maybe it would look like Christie in this shape, I think. It could be McGinn, but maybe you drop somebody out of that midfield and you have a bit of a 5 at the back. Robbo's got full license to be off the leash. McTominay's got a bit of license. And then between Doak and Adams, they are pace and they're a partnership. I actually think this is maybe the best of both worlds as I'm talking about it, as I'm going through with these, where you give us the ability to defend with 4. Like, you guys do not cross the halfway line. And if we are getting camped in, we become a 5. We tighten up a bit more. And then you've got, again, McTominay will cover, but between Doak and Adams, you've got 2 players to give Brazil something to think about on the counter-attack. Because when we've only had 1, and I know we need to respect these teams and not give them an inch and all the rest of it, but it's an absolute suicide job. And we want to think about scoring 1 goal in this game. I think going into it with the prospect of scoring 0, that's the main complaint Scotland fans have, the detractors from the setup, the style of play we've had. But we're going to need a bit of this, because we're going to combat Samba, Brazil football. We're going to need a little bit of the ugly stuff, and I'm all about it. But we need to have a really strong exit plan, as I call it, a really good plan for attacking and getting out that half and making sure not 1, but 2 guys can transition, can counter-attack, because you will always get a runner to support, maybe 2 if you're lucky. But we can't start attacks with one person. We don't have someone fast enough or big enough to pull that off between all the forwards we have. I've not spoke about any other options. I think it's only Adams to start. I don't think Shanklin. Do you know what? Seeing a 2 with Doak, it would be very unconventional, but I wouldn't rule it out being effective, to be honest. I really wouldn't rule it out. I just don't think there's anything Adams does that Steve Clarke doesn't like, and Shanklin does have a lot to be desired. Doesn't cover ground quick enough. His passing's okay. at this level. Shooting's pretty good at this level as well, but you get way more energy from Lyndon Dykes, and maybe not the same finesse and composure, but I think for what we're going to need in this game, energy is going to be a big, big part of it. So I actually think this could be the best of both worlds that we go for here. Again, you're maybe thinking about this and maybe thinking about McGinn. I don't think you could drop McGinn or McTominay at this time, really. But yeah, I think this is the way to go. And then you've got really nice options on the bench with Christie, McLean, Shankland, Dykes, depending on who pick your poison. We've also got Finlay Curtis as well. Ross Stewart could come off the bench. Again, we've seen Tyler Fletcher get a cap. I'm not too sure how useful he'd be in this type of game beyond experience. If we look at how Brazil are meant to set up, this might give you a better idea of my thinking here, because their team is going to be 4-2-3-1. There might be one or two differences in personnel. Their predicted team is actually the exact same as this right now, but instead of Luis Enrique, it's the newest wonder kid on the block, Ryan of Bournemouth, who just broke all the Premier League records for youngest player to do stuff in the last 10 or 15 years. Yay. So we've got that to deal with. We've got Ryan on one side, we've got Vinny Jr. on the other. Cunha, who has been one of my favourite forwards in world football over the last couple of years. I'm really annoyed he's at Man United because I hate Man United. But drops into number 10 spaces, drops into wide areas, he is the perfect front man when he's on form. He does everything, can do everything, shoot from range, pass from range, be a poacher, you name it. Paqueta and Bruno Guimaraes, again, I'm big fans of. Very mobile, although not electric midfielders. And I think when you look at that Morocco game, this Brazil midfield showed how immobile it is. Gabriel Magalhães and Marquinhos, two of the best centre-backs in world football. But Danilo and Douglas Santos are two of the oldest world football fullbacks that's of this kind of level. So between this kind of five that they've got, Paqueta, Bruno, Casemiro, Danilo, and Douglas Santos, there's margins we can work in here that work for us. But like I said before, we need to have two up top. We cannot leave this to Adams to do by himself, or Shankland or Dykes or whoever it's going to be. We're going to need to have two up top. I find we're not going to man for man beat them. And I had a bit of a comeback in the comment sections to my statement about that in the Morocco breakdown. I do think man for man, Morocco couldn't handle us. They done nothing in the game. Didn't mean that we ran all over them. But I think we have the ability to neutralise their midfield as much as anything else. You know, man for man, McTominay, Ginn, and Ferguson have played against the levels of Paqueta and Bruno Guimaraes. No bother at all. Champions League, Premier League, top end Serie A. So this is about when these battles go in our favour, how do we capitalise upon it? You're not going to see Robbo getting away from this Ryan guy, but what you're going to hope is Ryan is really high and we can catch Danilo out of space, because Robbo is going to beat him in a race. No bother at all. And on this side of the pitch here, I don't think you want Patterson going anywhere, because Vinny Jr. is not going to go anywhere. So again, you kind of have a bit of a false back four against this three. I think that's a good way of going here. And Robbo is the key. Robbo is the key. Can we suck Ryan into an area where we're covering him and we let Robbo take Danilo into space and get us up the pitch? Because again, Casemiro, you're not going to see lightning recoveries from. And if we have this pace where you've got Doak and Adams that can join in, yeah, this feels like the way to go for me. This is what I would do. What do I think Steve Clarke is going to do? I don't think it's going to be actually too dissimilar. I'm not sure if you were really looking at this, if you're the Scotland coaching team, you'd come up with much of a different plan. Again, if you know the individuals better, which they do, they train with them and plan them and talk to them and all the rest of it, fine. One thing I don't want us to play for in this game is set pieces, because we just will not. And I'm cursing us into some good luck here. Hopefully we score from a corner or a free kick or something. But Gabriel, like they will defend set pieces so well. Like they've got the units, they've got the bodies, and the counter-attack threat is wild. So I don't want to bank on set pieces. I want to bank on counter-attacks. I want to bank on they're going to come after us. They are really going to come after us. Keta's going to be like a second forward. Casemiro's going to eventually kind of look like a back three. You're going to see this type of build-up play going. We're going to drop in deeper to compensate for that, try and kill some spaces. But space doesn't disappear on a football pitch. It only moves. And I think the front two is really important to that, because if you do drop in deeper, you're just allowing these guys to get even higher and causes even more problems. And like I say, then when we do get those vital turnovers, do you want Shea Adams fighting with these three guys to get 2 touches of the ball? Okay, fine. That's what he's got to do. But he needs somebody that second touch or that first touch can open up some space with, by a decision for someone to make and then a mistake to happen. So 2 up top, 5 at the back. This is how we do it, I think. If this is the way we line up, I never want to rule out a miracle, because I'm a football romantic, right? It would be very Scottish for us, very Scottish of us, to either get hammered off Brazil and get eliminated. It's just worth saying because it's just out there and we can just address the elephant in the room. But it would also be very Scottish for us to look way better against Brazil than we did against Morocco. It just would. We've seen the Denmark results. We've had great results against Spain, and even going back through the annals of time against France's and Holland's and Italy's, you name it. Maybe not always all the time, but you know, we have beat big teams. We can do it. We have done it. And yeah, man, I'm not going to say we're going to do it. I think we're going to get the result we want. We won't know what the result we want is going into the match, like we've already displayed earlier in the video. We won't really know that until we watch the rest of the games unfold. But we might lose this 1-0. I'm actually, I don't want to say confident, right? But when I'm thinking about this and I'm talking about it to you guys, I feel comfortable saying we're going to draw. We probably do lose. Ultimately, bottom line, I think we're going to get the result we want. But like I say, I think we're going to get supercharged with support from all the locals there. The Tartan Army is in peak form. And again, we've got anti-football versus football here. I think we can frustrate. I think we can kill a lot of this game. And if we do have our first attack that can actually join up together in this tournament, Alisson's a big keeper to beat, and this is a big defence to get around. But if we let them hang themselves and give us all the space to play into here, and we use the players that can play in space, I can see us scoring. I really can. But not really. Like, our ceiling is 2. Like, I realistically expect us to score a goal, best case scenario. Dream case scenario, we score 2 goals, is kind of what I'm saying. So I think we're going to lose 1-0, draw 1-1. I'm in and around there, but I hate to predict a loss. So I'm going to say we're going to draw 1-1. If we do such a thing, again, I think Ferguson's had quietly and a very effective tournament. But if we are to score, I think this is the sort of way you're going to see it happen, where the ball turns over quickly, we play into space and everything, and we make sure we get that tap in. Team ethic will kick in here with somebody, whether it be McTominay or McGinn. Again, I said in the early stages of the Haiti preview, I feel like Gannon Doak is going to arrive in this tournament. He's definitely shown to be good for us. Against Mazraoui, you kind of seen a bit of the current level you find himself in. But against Brazil, if he was to be the guy that tore them up once or twice and made some opportunities for us, it ultimately resulted in a goal that would make the difference between qualifying or not. I think this is get Gannon Doak's name written all over it. Quietly behind him, though, I'm saying Lewis Ferguson, because of the tournament he's had. Wouldn't it just be serendipitous for him to hit one from the edge of the box or get a wee tap in from a scramble or something like that? So Ferguson is my kind of low key. I think he's going to play brilliantly. Could be a match winner. But if we are going to get the result I'm predicting, I think Gannon Doak will be the headline maker. Might not have the man of the match trophy by the end of it, but the headline maker of the game. And maybe we'll see Endrick in this game. Wouldn't that just be absolutely hilarious? The internet would break if the Tartan Army and the Endrick memes somehow met, and that could maybe happen in this game at some point. Absolutely love it. Thanks everyone that's tuned into this one. I hope you've enjoyed it. At any point, if you did laugh, you learn, like something or whatever, please do like and subscribe to the channel for more content like this, as well as all the latest news, the comings and goings from the SPFL. We dropped a big video yesterday covering lots of squads, and right after I recorded it, there was a further development with the Hearts manager, and that's basically all been confirmed right now. So the video tomorrow we'll do covering SPFL roundup stuff. Feel free to check out this video at any time between now and kickoff. Please share it in WhatsApp groups and with your pals and whatever, and get your receipts on the internet here. What do you think the score prediction is going to be? Who's going to be the difference maker, good, bad, or otherwise? On screen and now some other stuff that I've made that YouTube thinks you might enjoy. If you're going to the game, travel safe, have all the fun you possibly can. Cheer the boys on for me, and whenever you're watching it. Otherwise, hope you have a great time. Stay out of trouble. I'll catch you on the next one.